quietness punctuated by occasional tinklings of cowbells. He imagined husbands and wives down there after a day of work. What did they discuss now in their waiting darkness? What did Jenny Sorga discuss with her husband? Provided she had a husband. It seemed impossible she'd still be single. Lovely, nubile Jenny. It was more than a year since they'd last seen each other at the university. Dasein sighed. No escaping thoughts of Jenny. Not here in Santaroga. Jenny contained part of Santaroga's mystery. She was an element of the Santaroga barrier and a prime subject for his present investigation. Again, Dasein sighed. He wasn't fooling himself. He knew why he'd accepted this project. It wasn't the munificent sum those chain stores were paying the university for this study, nor the generous salary provided for himself. He had come because this was where Jenny lived. Dasein told himself he'd smile and act normal, perfectly normal, when he met her. He was here on business, a psychologist detached from his usual teaching duties to make a market study in Santaroga Valley. What was a perfectly normal way to act with Jenny, though? How did one achieve normalcy when encountering the paranormal? Jenny was a Santarogan, and the normalcy of this valley defied normal expectations. His mind went to the reports, the known facts, all the folders of data, the collections of official pryings, the second-hand secrets which were the stock-in trade of the bureaucracy. All this really added up to a single known fact about Santaroga. There was something extraordinary at work here, something far more disturbing than any so-called market study had ever tackled before. Meyer Davidson, the soft-looking, pink-fleshed little man who'd presented himself as the agent of the investment corporation, the holding company behind the chain stores paying for this project, had put it in an angry nutshell at the first orientation meeting. The whole thing about Santaroga boils down to this. Why were we forced to close our branches there? Why won't even one Santarogan trade with an outsider? That's what we want to know. What's this Santaroga barrier which keeps us from doing business there? Davidson wasn't as soft as he looked. Dasein started the truck, turned on his headlights, resumed his course down the winding grade. All the data was a single datum. Outsiders found no houses for rent or sale in this valley. Santaroga officials said they had no juvenile delinquency figures for the state's statistics. Servicemen from Santaroga always returned when they were discharged. In fact, no Santarogan had ever been known to move out of the valley. Why? Was it a two-way barrier? And the curious anomalies. The data had included a medical journal article by Jenny's uncle, Dr. Lawrence Piaget, reputedly the valley's leading physician. The article? The Poison Oak Syndrome in Santaroga. Its substance? Santarogans had a remarkable susceptibility to allergens when forced to live away from their valley for extended periods. This was the chief reason for service rejection of Santaroga's youths. Data equaled datum. Santaroga reported no cases of mental illness or mental deficiency to the State Department of Mental Hygiene. No Santarogan could be found in a state mental hospital. The psychiatrist who headed Dasein's university department, Dr. Chamie Salador, found this fact alarming. Cigarette sales in Santaroga could be accounted for by transient purchasers. Santarogans manifested an iron resistance to national advertising, an un-American symptom, according to Meyer Davidson. No cheese, wines, or beers made outside the valley could be marketed to Santarogans. All the valley's businesses, including the bank, were locally owned. They flatly rejected outside investment money. Santaroga had successfully resisted every pork-barrel government project the politicians had offered. Their state senator was from Porterville, 10 miles behind Dasein and well outside the valley. Among the political figures Dasein had interviewed to lay the groundwork for his study, the state senator